I can still clearly recall the events of that day even now. It was October, the day before my entrance exam. The weather outside had been miserable since the morning, and visibility was all but non-existent. It would be a bad omen if I were to slip and fall on the day before the exam, so I decided I'd wear boots to school, just to be safe. Oh! When I opened the door, I was shocked to see a white-haired old woman lying on the ground, soaked to the bone. That is not an old woman. I frantically rushed over to her side. Oh my god. The road running by my house was narrow, and mostly used only by our neighbors. But it's not like it was closed off to outside traffic or anything, so a hit and run wasn't out of the question. I looked over the old woman's body as best I could. Fortunately, there was no signs of any serious injury. Oh my god. The old woman raised herself up slightly and spoke hoarsely. From the tone in her voice, she seemed terribly desperate. Bro, she has a future. I just told you. Okay. Not knowing what to say, I nodded apprehensively. As the old woman began digging through her pockets, she produced what looked like a crumpled scrap of paper. As she was digging around, I noticed that her breathing had become dangerously ragged and began considering my options to assist her. Really, I should have gone back into the house and called my mom, but there was something about her that kept me glued to the spot. I sensed desperation hiding in that unbroken gaze. The old woman clutched my wrist and forcefully pressed the scrap of paper in my palm. Tilting my head, I unfolded the scrap and looked carefully at it. At first, I thought I'd just been handed a piece of trash, but when I unfolded it all the way, I saw that it was actually a paper doll in the shape of a human being, and there was a name written on its torso. Yeah, my name, written plain as day in easy, legible brushstrokes. Crazy. This was all crazy. I didn't understand any of it, save for one simple fact. This old woman was here to specifically give me this strange paper charm. As far as I was aware, we were total strangers to one another, but she clearly knew both my name and my address. Oh my god. As I extended my arm to return the paper doll, I could sense her entire demeanor had changed. She raised her body up unsteadily from the wet asphalt. Kill her. Kill her. Kill her and run away. Just take it. Just take it. Okay. She was warned. As the old woman cried out, the paper doll flustered lightly to the ground. Was I right? Almost instantaneously, it became soaked through with rainwater. My mind began to run and quickly turned into an illegible black smudge. Seeing this, the old woman grabbed and tore at her hair.
おばあちゃん、私の学校は如月学園だよ。展示。
She's gonna die. I wish they flipped it over, just like she fell the other way. Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The old woman seemed to be unconscious by that point, however, so the EMTs brought out a stretcher. No, we do not know this woman. The idea of making this old woman go to the hospital by herself just seemed like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but we'd had a lengthy conversation mere minutes before, so I couldn't very well say we had nothing to do with one another. I was a little hesitant, but I knew I really had to go to school today no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mom's care and heading towards the school walked right by her stretcher. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman and grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away, but found myself ensnared by her terrible bloodshot eyes. I hope this woman got paid, like, a lot. After school, once my final practice interview had concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regimen of gossip and small talk. When I described the events of that morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on every word and yelping in unison at key moments. She should have listened. You... Oh my God. She's gonna fall down the stairs. When is her boyfriend gonna die?
私は慌てて荷物をまとめ、時刻は夕方5時になるところ。外は薄暗くなってきているけれど、階段の7時までにはまだだから怖がる必要なんてないと、そう自分に言い聞かせて、それでも下駄箱にたどり着くまでの時間がやけに長く感じられ、ダメだ。
お、よう、シシド。
Hey.
司君。
今帰りか？
So it is like 5 p.m.
なんだよ、その満面の笑みは。
なんでもない。ね。
お。や
った。司君の顔を見たら一瞬だけだけど怖かったのが吹き飛んだ。そばにいてくれたら心強いなって。
Oh, he's gonna walk you home.
それが気になっている人ならなおさら。雨は朝よりも弱まっていた。その中を私たちは傘を差しながら、司君とはたわいもない話でそこそこ得体の知れない恐怖みたいなものがちらついて、いつもみたいに振る舞えている。
シシド？なんかお前。おい。
実は
怖いこと？
私の様子があまりにおかしかったのか、真剣に話を聞いてくれようとしているのが分かって、今抱えている恐怖をできることなら司君と共有したかった。だけど司君は。
はあ。七不思議ね。七不思議を信じるなんて。
Bitch, and okay, I get what he's talking about. I have a friend who is like this, where they don't really believe in that stuff, but it's like, dude, if this happened to me, I'm listening.
司君は怖くないの？
怖いっていうか、妙だとは思うけどな。
でも
あんま深く考えない方がいいんじゃね？ そのばあちゃんは確かに気味悪いけどさ。
そういうんじゃなくて、
え？
解決方法を教えてほしかったわけじゃない。あのね、私は話を聞いてほ
話なら聞いたじゃんか。
だから。
わかんねえよ。
男の子ってこういう考え方をする。人によるのかもしれないけど、でも女子とは違ってすぐにこうすればいいじゃんって解決法を提示しちゃうのだ。結
Sorry.
果女子は言いたいことが言え
I
ない。
mean, yeah,
消化不
I
良
do
にな
know
って
that
しまう。
though.
私は司くんと恐怖を共有したかっただけ。この時の私
She
は
wanted to be
気にするなっ
empathized
て
with.
言葉が司くんの気遣いだとわからない。朝に見たおばあさんの顔が、それが怪談話で増幅されてじわじわと私の気持ちを暗くし、あんなに怖い思いをしたんだからっていう。私と司くんはこの時初めて気まずい雰囲気に。
Oh my god. She's like, I don't like you anymore.
ああ。獅子堂。
I didn't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern. Wait, are you seriously just walking away because of
な
that?
んかあったら連絡しろよ。
I considered turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward with a huff, leaving him behind.
ただいま。ゆい。
Greeting me at the door, my mother wore a somber expression. She died. She died. I stared at her with scrunched eyebrows for an awkwardly long time before she eventually reluctantly opened her mouth to
今
speak.
朝のおばあさん
She's
さ
dead.
っき亡くなったって
Yep, your fault.
嘘。
残念なことだけど、あなたは明日の推薦入試のことだけ考えていなさい。それじゃあのおばあさんの話はこれで終わり。
わかった。
ええ、
お母さんがキッチンへと突っ込んでいくのを見届けて、私はもぞもぞと靴を脱いだ。司くんにあんな態度をとってしまっただけでも嫌な気分だったのに、あのおばあちゃんが亡くなってしまっただなんて。
Sorry. The last thing the old woman had said to me echoed again in my head. I began wishing I'd taken her more seriously. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her I wouldn't go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I mean, the place didn't exist anymore, for goodness sakes. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day, and I no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change into my school clothes, but still sprawled out over the desk, my eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. I woke with a start. The air in my room had gotten notably cooler, and I was shivering.
寝ちゃった。
Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at my clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45.
こんな時間。
It was back outside with my window streaked with lines from still pouring
明
rain.
日は晴れるといいんだけど。
Studying for my exam, the weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous.
明日の用意しておかなくっちゃ。
There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming as I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I would need tomorrow from my bag.
残しておくものは受験票も忘れずに。
I bet the paper doll's in there.
嘘。ペンケースがない。学校に忘れてきちゃった。さーっと血の気が別に筆記用具で困ったわけじゃない。家にはいくらでも代わりがあるけど、あの中には取ってこなくちゃ。お母さん、私
え？も
すぐ戻るから。
She's gonna die.
そう。
He's gonna die. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Is he gonna die?
あの鉛筆は絶対に明日試験会場へ持っていかなければならないものの、降りしきる雨の中、足元に気を配りながら全速力で走る。6時45分、七不思議で語られていった校門前について真っ先に時間、放課後の吉江さんの怪談話が10月、雨があのおばあちゃんやだな。もう
Yes.
込み上げてくる恐怖を抑えつけるために見上げた校舎に人影はない。こんなけれど廊下の電気はまだ全てついていた。よし、パッと行ってパッと済ましちゃおう。
Just get it tomorrow. Then entering the brightly lit hall, I took on another look around.
やっぱ ぱり生徒は誰も残ってないみたい。
My deep sigh echoed through the hall, deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late
急
hour.
がなくちゃ。もうすぐ7時だ。
I nervously sauntered towards the classroom 3-4, picking up speed as it occurred to me to do so.
今朝のおばあさんね。
その天神小学校で放課後校舎の見回りをしていた女の、その日は10月のこういう日は吉江さん、天神小学校がなくなってしまったことに気づいていない吉江さんは如月が
Just grab it and jump out the window.
もう何考えてるの。
Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself.
とにかくパッと教室に行ってペンケース取ってこなくちゃ。
No ghosts should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright
あのペンケ
lights.
ースに入ってる鉛筆は明日ってあれは司くんがくれたお守りなんだもの。
I picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for the room 3-4. Oh. Ooh, no. Oh no! The sound is
中
traveling.
等部の方はもうそれにしても今日はいつもよりこの廊下が長い感じがする。ただでさえこの廊下で遅刻しそうになるくらいなのに。
I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway towards my goal, jumping every now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisagari Academy was comprised of both middle school and high school, and this evening it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. It didn't help that my classroom was in the high school which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther
い
away.
つもは賑やかな場所がこんなにも静まりかえ、雨の音がやけに大きく聞こえるよ。
I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a faint noise as of someone playing an organ.
空耳だよね。こんな時間に音楽室で楽器を鳴らす人なんているわけないし。
I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again. This time more clearly. It was unmistakable. I was paralyzed with fear.
Hey you guys! Did you know I can totally play the organ? Because I didn't!
It's okay, it's just Miku. Not Miku. Pinkie Pie. My heart was pounding as if they were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip.
きっとまだ吹奏楽部の子とか先生が残って弾いてるんだよね。
Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have stayed late to practice, that's all.
何でもかんでも怖い話に直結させちゃいけないな。
I took another deep breath and turned and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves.
何でも怖く思えるものだよね。
I'd heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my imagination was most definitely running
あとちょ
wild.
っとで教室だから走っていこう。
I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Nice. Finally reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened and flicked on the lights.
やっとたどり着いた。あとはペンケースを忘れないようにしなくちゃ。
Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out. It took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. It was the appointed time when the ghost of a teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to the school legend.
何もないじゃない。
I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away.
全然怖くないよ。やっぱり七不思議だなんて嘘だったんだな。
I grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into my
よし、こ
pocket.
れで任務完了だね。
With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly
教
fascinating.
室に私一人ってなんだか不思議な感じがするな。
I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the
こんなシ
blackboard.
チュエーションめったにないし
To me, the area behind the podium from which the teachers conduct their lessons was like a sacred place. I dreamed of standing there myself one day and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like
今な
this.
ら誰も見てないし
To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way it felt at the
どう
moment.
しようかな
Oh, shit. I mean, girl, why not?
よし少しだけ先生の気分を味わっちゃえ
Like, literally. I mean, honestly, I can't die, right? You know? I decided I had to try it. During daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times. But this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand here and preside over the classroom.
そうか先生からはこんな風に見えるんだなんかちょっとドキドキする
Getting a teacher's point of view, in the most literal sense, was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This was where all my dreams would play out.
私もいつか
I began to imagine the future that awaited me, painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks, gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their
いつ
studies.
か先生になれるといいな
She gonna get killed. I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous, free visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of these two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Oh, shit.
停電
Suddenly, my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud.
いきなり何
I instinctively grabbed a hold of the rail where the eraser sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me.
しかもオルガンの音まだ響いてる嘘なんで停電になってるならオルガンだって鳴らないはずなのに
Okay. Was this what the woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic. As far as I was aware, how could she possibly know this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic predicting the future, is the stuff of science fiction. I shook my head.
落ち着くのよ私音楽室の方はまだ停電になってないとかきっとそんな理由だよ
I curled my chalk dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense to myself.
ともかく早く校舎を出よう
I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. I'd spent so much time in here you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing at other desks around me for support.
いっつといけない机の中身まき散らしちゃったよ元に戻さなくちゃ
Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing
でも
utensils.
暗くて何がなんだかもう何やってるのよ急いでるのに本当にドジなんだから
I let out a sigh. I seem to be doing that a lot lately.
これは教科書とノートでしょ
I was trying to take inventory of all the things I knocked out of the desk, then I suddenly realized, why? I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all
さ
back
す
in.
がに全部を間違いなく元に戻すのは無理だな明日ここの席の子に謝らなくちゃ
Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining why what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be fat out, but that would be the same as lying, as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that.
とこれで最後かな
I placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something, alright.
やだ、何これ。なんだかぬるぬるして。
I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It was no notebook or writing implement, though, that's for sure.
机の中からなんでブニュブニュしたものが。
Maybe it had been on the floor all
なん
along.
だろうこれ。
I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into a wet spot, then brought my hand up close to my face so I could get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? There was a flash of lightning almost immediately joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with it, for a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up bright as day. Oh. Ooh. I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it really did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand, no. If my peripheral vision were to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained in a deep, dark
そう
crimson.
いえばなんとなく生臭い気がする。
Oh, now you notice. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured and then just, I don't know, fucking dance everywhere?
ありえない。そんな。何よこれ。
My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee.
開かない。やだ。鍵なんてかかってなかったのに。今だって鍵はかかってないよ。それなのにどうして。
Pulled on the door handle again and again into a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge.
なんでよ。
I was absentmindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slammed my fists on a nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare.
何これ。
Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart.
とにかく一度落ち着かないと。そもそもドアが開かないのだって私がこんなにパニックになってる。さっきの変な塊だってきっと何かの勘違いだよ。だってありえないじゃない。教室にあんなわけのわからないものが落ちてるだなんて。
I was certain that when I saw what it was actually come morning, it ended up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym
きっと
clothes.
そうだよ。そうだ。指についたのだって美術に使う絵の具かもしれないじゃない。
My imagination was just running wild because I was
もしか
panicking.
したらドアに何かが挟まってて開かないだけかもしれない。
I just jumped out the window. I decided to check out the hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determining if anything was jutting out from any of the
ダ
cracks.
メだ。真っ暗で何にも見えない。
I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make out anything out that would be doing this, and the classroom's rear exit seemed a world away. Dude, there's windows. It cannot be that dark.
他の出口は。
Maybe there's another way out of here. No, this was the third floor. I couldn't get out of this classroom without exiting into the hallway.
今すぐ外に出たいのに。
Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window. But the glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source.
歩いてくる。
Then there came a distinctive clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps. Oh no.
そうだ。人用務員さんだ。
I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around after the sudden power outage.
助かった。
All at once, my fear-addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over.
すみません。
Oh no. I shouted to the custodian through the window as loudly as I could muster.
すみません。閉じ込められてるんです。
I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Oh my god. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However,
なんかこの光おかしい気がする。
perturbed, I took a step away from the window.
懐中電灯だったらもっと明るいよね。この光は
Like the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits, was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural, very unflash-like way.
それにこの足音。
4 clomps, then a 3 or so second interval, then another 4 clomps. They were sounding in a fixed
用
rhythm.
務員さんじゃない。明らかに変な歩き方。
The fear was back, in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I had accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it
どこ
in.
か隠れるところ。そうだ。
Oh god. Okay, she's